What is up, boys and girls, and everything in between? It's Bear With Us. Barring any more gratuitous boob shots before this show gets off the rails. Leah, how are you, my dear?
Babe, come on. This is a podcast.
It's visual now. It's on YouTube, too.
That is true.
People
We
need
are
to
on YouTube.
see the magic happen.
People do need to see the magic happen. And I'm sorry for the people that are watching on YouTube. My hair is a hot mess. Ladies, as you know, there's a schedule we have to follow when it comes to washing your hair. You have to plan it out days, weeks in advance. And I was not planning on washing my hair today or getting it wet. However, we just spent the last, 25, 30 minutes in the shower and things got a little wet.
Not your hair. Your hair did not.
But it did. It's soaking wet in the back.
Well, hopefully you will all enjoy this post-coital bliss as we are lots to get to this week. Happy Pride Month, everybody. That's cool. I'm sure there are some listeners that are celebrating hard, so continue to be you and do what you do. And
love is love.
You always got a place here at the Bear With Us podcast. So what's new and exciting in your world?
Well, I went to the mall today. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Love that. Actually, fun little story for you. When I was at the mall today, I made a purchase. I'm not going to say what it was, but the total came to $444. And
not $4.44 because you've never spent that little on anything.
Let me live my life, okay? But I pay attention to those things, and when it comes to angel numbers, so numbers that are 3 in a row, or for example, one time we were down in Fort Lauderdale.
What about 666?
Maybe I don't like that one.
That's the devil's number. That's the only number in triples that actually matters to me.
To you,
right?
But you're interrupting. Okay, let me tell my story.
Sorry. Sucks to be like you.
Huh? I'm the interrupter here. So I looked up what 444 meant, and it was so right on par with how I'm feeling. It was all about having to listen to I have to, in this moment, listen to my angel guides, my angel spirits, because, you know me, I'm someone who always likes to be in control and have a plan, know what's next, and try to, sometimes I think, for a lack of a better word, like force things. I just can't just let things happen.
Right.
I have a hard time with that because I really I want to be in control. And it was like plain as day telling me I need to just ask my spirits to guide me, and they have a plan, and I need to call on them to guide me for this plan.
And you've been really into this whole spirituality thing lately a lot. You've always kind of sort of dabbled in it a little bit.
Yeah.
I admittedly am somewhat skeptical, but I've opened my mind a little bit. We've gone and seen that we had our
tarot
cards read, and it's, if nothing else, it's fun, it's interesting. But you've really,
I love it.
For it
I feel like it's really just changed my outlook on life in general. I just feel much lighter, and whether you believe it or not, for me, I believe it and it works. And it's definitely thanks to my mom. My mom has really gone into it a lot lately, and she's been sharing so much with me, sending me books and everything. And I just feel so connected with the universe, and I really like it.
Well, great. And I'm excited for you to really embrace your future as the Wicked Witch of the East.
Babe, how about one other thing that I was just going to say when I was trying to say before you interrupted me? And also, I'm not the Wicked Witch of the East. I'm the Wicked Witch of the West.
No.
Get it right.
We're in Pittsburgh.
Whatever. Anyway, so
geography, not your strong suit.
But remember, I made that purchase at
Sephora.
No,
Sephora
when we were in Fort Lauderdale, that really awesome little spiritual place where we got incense and I got a Buddha and all those things, and the price came to $73.72.
Right.
And I forget. Oh no, it's the woman. She goes, "Oh my gosh, we need to look up what this means in angel numbers because it's very rare that your total comes out to 2 consecutive numbers." And it meant what you're doing and thinking and feeling right now at this point in your life it's right and keep continuing with whatever it is you're doing. And that's like when all of the shit was happening with you and I when we first started getting together and shit hit the fan and it was just like nuts. And I thought, oh, okay. Not that I needed reassurance, but it was just that little thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, we're doing it right.
You know, I think would be a really cool idea.
What?
If we could have somebody that knows about that stuff on the podcast.
That would be amazing. We need to look into that.
Like an astrologer or a tarot reader or a love expert or somebody that's into that sort of stuff. Because I told you, I'm admittedly skeptical, but I'm open-minded.
But when we went to the tarot reading in St. Pete, she was spot on for a lot of for you.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I mean,
I believe in that.
Well, cool. Maybe we'll have to do some exploring and bring some things to light here on Bear With Us. Which reminds me, if you haven't already, make sure you smash the subscribe button on our new YouTube channel. It is growing slowly but surely. New episodes are doing great. Apparently, we're lacking in the people going back and reliving the archives. Do it. Check it out. There's probably some stuff you missed, and you can actually watch Leah and I the entire time we've been on camera. Basically, every moment we've recorded this show since its inception. This is your chance to go back and laugh at the absurdity that is, or, you know, just check out how hot Leah can be. Or,
oh my God, no.
Or me.
We say a lot of stupid and well, mostly me. I say a lot of stupid especially in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing or where we were going with it. So check it out. You won't be sorry. If nothing else, you'll have things to tweet at me about how ridiculous I am and embarrassing.
So make sure you leave comments, like, subscribe. And of course, if you haven't, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe. You never want to miss an episode. We are trying to bring you the goodness. We're finally finding our groove, I feel like.
Rolling with the homies.
That'll take me right out of the groove. Absolutely out of the groove. You know what else took me out of my groove today?
What?
My walk home from the gym.
Ooh, tell me.
And I will tell you what happened because it actually pissed me off a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm walking home from the gym, which is usually my little decompression time. Now that I'm still going to the gym and I'm super jacked. And I'm
look at this. Now for the people at home.
Look at this. We have YouTube now. So I can, boom, I have like muscles again. It's crazy, right?
Zaddy.
Yeah. Well,
break me off a piece of that.
Anyway, I am walking home from the gym and I'm just kind of enjoying it. It's a beautiful, wonderful walk across one of the multiple bridges here in Pittsburgh. And it's usually very leisurely. As I was walking right to the intersection, I was joined and actually walked behind a trans person. Mm-hmm. Not an uncommon sight, not an unusual thing. Didn't really think much of it. Going in the same direction, I'm probably 10, 15 steps behind them. And don't really pay much mind. But as I'm walking, I see a couple construction workers on the bridge. And per our conversation about catcalling and how people don't have any couth, I, for some reason, got nervous. I was like, man, these guys, I could hear them just being boisterous, not necessarily about this person in front of me, but just in general. And I was like, man, if anybody's going to make a comment or do something rotten, it's going to be these guys. And F me for having that preconceived notion because they're construction workers. They must have no couth, right? So that was wrong on my end. So this person's walking across the bridge in front of me, a cup of coffee in their hand, and walk past the construction workers, no incident. And I'm just kind of generally in my own world, not paying a whole lot of attention. And as we are about halfway across the bridge, this freaking car slows down and screams out at this person, well, aren't you pretty? And slowed down enough so that I glanced over and looked, and it was like the most normal looking businessman you've ever seen, driving a Subaru. He had a dress shirt and tie on. I mean, it looked like he had his shit together, for lack of a better term, just based on, you know, first glance. And I thought to myself, what a rotten human being. The fact
like,
that
were they saying it like in a complimentary way?
No.
It
was very derogatory. It was very mocking. It wasn't like, oh, hey, you're attractive. It was this guy going out of his way to make this person feel less than. And I was like, man, look, it's all through the media, trans rights, and it's obviously a hot topic in the world. I don't even want to dive into all of the things that come with it. This is a plea to anybody listening to this. I don't have, to my knowledge, many trans friends or people that are close to me. I mean, it's not like my life is full of them, but it's back to anything, whether it be racism or whatever you identify as. It's 2021. The fact that anybody has the balls and lack of couth
respect
and lack of respect to stop and insult a complete stranger based on their appearance alone, I was like, thank God the dude was in a car, because that would have been something. Like I said, I was in a bit of a lather about the construction guys, fully intending, like, I hope these dudes don't say anything, because that would be, and like and again, not me being Mr. White Knight, like, hey, I'm standing up for everybody, but just like, don't be a complete piece of shit, right? And then this guy who, again, based all I know about this guy is what kind of car he drives and how he was dressed, but he looked like a guy that you would see in any office building in America. And I'm thinking to myself, God, man, these people have this journey and this struggle as is to be treated just as normal, right? Maybe it's not quote unquote the norm, but I don't know why anybody would voluntarily just subject themselves to that sort of treatment from strangers without there being like a very legitimate reason to me, you know? And I'll be the first to admit, when it comes to that lifestyle and that culture and community, I'm relatively ignorant as far as knowing the people and having conversations, just because I don't have access to it. You know, I could search, I could Google, and you're going to get 20,000 different answers from 20,000 different people. And I'm sure everybody has their own reasons for living that way. But it's like, how are we as a society still that far behind that this person is minding their own business, walking across a goddamn bridge in downtown, sipping a coffee, minding their own business, and they have to be subjected to like an insult like that? And it genuinely made me like furious. And I didn't, again, I don't know this person. It wasn't my place to, I just acknowledge, I ignored it just like the person in front of me did. In the moment. But like, I continued my walk home, and I got home and it just bothered me. And I was like, man, it's ridiculous. Like,
well, and that is one comment that probably only one out of however many they get in a day. That's what I'm saying. That is just, it's disgusting and it's wrong.
And I understand, after seeing that, I think I have a different, I don't want to say appreciation, but understanding for what their day-to-day must be like. And I can't even imagine, I can't even pretend to understand what that feels like constantly, just to be who you want to be. And we started the podcast saying, hey, happy Pride Month, which is supposed to be a celebration of no matter what you're into. If you're into guys or girls or whatever you identify, it's cool. Just be who you are, right? There's a month to celebrate that. And this poor person is walking across the street and is just verbally assaulted by somebody. And I was like, that's sick. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. I'm not saying anybody has to understand it, but it's 2021. Get over it. People like this have the right to exist and mind their own business and be happy as much as anybody else. And again, I'm not the dude to all of a sudden bust the doors down on this. I don't want to act like I'm this white knight trying to save things. I'm just saying I saw it firsthand today for the first time, and it truly pissed me off, and I felt horrible for the person in front of me. And I just, using my tiny little platform to say, hey, if you're listening to this, do better. Everybody do better across the board. And that's where I'm going to end it. I don't want to get into,
something that I want to clarify from last week's episode, we're talking about the Rolodex, right? You were saying that I keep a Rolodex of the things you do to up, to bring back and hold against you. I need to clarify this. This was not a debate. I know we get into debates a lot of the times and we say, do you side with Matt or do you side with Leah? And we posted on the Instagram, have you ever been a victim of someone keeping a Rolodex about something that you did in the past and hold it against you in the future or in the present? But that was not the case. I'm not trying to say that I condone holding things against your partner and saving them for a later date. I think it's something that happens sometimes, and I've been guilty of it. You've been guilty of it. I think it happens, but I'm not saying that you should do it. And I just wanted to clarify that, because people are like, I'm with Matt on this one. Sorry, Leah. No.
That's just because you took 2 L's in a row.
No,
you don't know how to handle it.
I will gladly take the L on the fast food, the customization of McDonald's. I will gladly take the L. I'm with it. I understand it. I get it. However, I was not trying to say that you should keep a Rolodex of your partner's ups to hold against them in the future. So I just need to clarify that.
Well, that wasn't your intention, but I think that leads nicely into what we intended on talking about today. And that being, we were forced to take a bit of our own advice. We always talk about honesty, communication, sex being the 3 major tenets of our relationship and why we make it work. The honesty thing, never a problem.
Never.
Probably sometimes to our own detriment.
Two on it.
Sex, 20 minutes ago. It was the communication. And the communication, it wasn't a lack of communication. It was an issue that we had several months back that we had essentially worked through.
Yeah.
But there were still a few hangers on, a few.
Well, let's just say that this was the biggest fight we've ever gotten into.
Yes.
This was our biggest issue.
This is why we were actually not recording the show. It was in the midst of our little hiatus.
Right.
So we didn't even get to bring this really to light.
Right.
But let's not drum up some old as they say.
Well, and we were going through some changes as far as scheduling. So it wasn't just because of this issue. But this was our biggest issue that we've ever gone through. So things started.
No, you just confused everybody. We did not record because we were fighting. We didn't not.
That's what I thought you said.
No, I said we didn't get to talk about it because we were not recording.
I was like, well, that wasn't why we weren't recording.
Now, next thing, all the stupid Twitter headlines. Graves and Mella arguing, don't do their show because they're in a fight.
Like, no, well, I mean,
trust me, that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's okay.
And it's on you.
It's on me.
As usual.
You.
Just did.
Baby! Oh, let's talk about that. Oh, my God.
No, let's talk about what we came to talk about today. Oh, my God. If I could stay on one track without Captain Interrupto here.
Rude. No, but it's true. So we had this really big issue. And then we worked through it and we were working through it and things were good, right? Everything's been copacetic, as you would say, one of your favorite words. And then something happened last week that kind of brought back this old fight a little bit.
Right.
And I don't want to get into the details, but we can't get into the details. It's too much. It's a very, very long story and we don't have enough time for it.
It's really not that interesting.
No. But it came back a little bit this past week and neither of us wanted to address it, right?
What it was we addressed it to the point where we could move on.
Right.
But there were still some outlying issues, some underlying issues that weren't explicitly addressed and they would rear their heads from time to time and manifested themselves in roundabout ways. They weren't arguments. They weren't outright knockdown, drag out, screw you fights. They were subtle. They were sometimes, I'm trying to think of the words you used. They weren't backhanded, but they were I said passive aggressive at times.
Yes, you were very passive aggressive.
Which I'm guilty of.
But so this issue happened. It finally reared its head, as you would say, again. And I was having major anxiety about it because I felt like I can't talk about this to Matt because it's only going to piss him off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep it in and I'm going to deal with it on my own. And it wasn't something that he did that we're talking about. It's like an issue that was happened and it had nothing to do with what Matt did. How do I explain that?
It was an extremely boring yet big issue that basically any couple will deal with.
Yes.
It was just a day-to-day life sort of thing. It was not an exciting argument. Right. It was a discussion that just got way out of hand.
So I felt like we needed to talk about it, but I was worried to bring it up because sometimes Matt is guilty of, how do you say it? How do I say this without pissing you off? You get very upset and it's the end of the world when something happens, right?
Sure.
So if I tell you like, oh my gosh, we need to figure out XYZ, you're like, oh, this, the world sucks, everything sucks, I hate life.
I managed to escalate any issue faster and more intensely than most people walking the earth.
Right.
No matter what, no matter how minor,
no matter how big or small.
It's definitely, I would dare say it's a character flaw of mine.
It's the end of the world to you.
And it could be literally anything.
Right.
Like, oh no, this happened. They screwed up my order at McDonald's. Now I can't eat.
He's
now
like, nothing can go in my way.
I can't think right. Yeah. I can't do a podcast. I'm hungry. The room is not conducive to
my shoes don't fit anymore. Like you'll find any excuse.
Really bad.
Yeah.
I am bad at that.
So I had major anxiety about this issue and I thought, oh my gosh, well, I can't go to Matt about it because he's going to freak out. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to hold it in. I'm going to deal with it on my own and I'm going to figure it out. And in Matt's perspective, he knew this issue had happened. This thing happened. And he was like, she doesn't even care that this issue happened. She's not even going to talk to me about it. She's not even going to address it with me. So we both were looking at it from different perspectives.
We were both assuming.
Yes.
Both of us.
You know what happens when you assume?
Yeah, it
It
almost
makes
breaks
an
up.
ass out of you.
I didn't want a
me.
song. That wasn't a cue to sing. That wasn't yeah, we both were assuming incorrectly.
Yes.
And it finally got to a point where we weren't in a fight. We
No,
weren't
we didn't
arguing. There was
fight.
no point of contention. Truth be told, I went out for a couple beers with a few friends the other night, and I got back and was just feeling actually great, and I was in a good mood, but I was just feeling honest. And this thing had been bothering me again, based off of a series of small disagreements over the previous
last
week.
few months, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. These small manifestations of this issue in various forms. And I finally, as I was laying in my hotel bed, composed what I thought was the most bulletproof text I've ever sent.
Right.
Because my intentions were to bring the issue forward, have a discussion face to face, but I feel like I went out of my way to tell you in the text message, this is not a fight. I am not mad. I am not giving you an ultimatum. I am not arguing with you. This is just something we need to look at. However, Leah woke up.
Wait, let me say from my perspective. Okay. First of all, I will say you have a very hard time, I think, expressing how you feel in person.
Yeah.
Like when we're in a conversation, because you just blow up. You fight and you get mean and you yell.
Right.
So, and then I think you even forget what your intention was going into the quote unquote argument or conversation because you just blow up. So I do appreciate the fact that you took well thought texts and put all your ideas and your feelings. To me, I appreciate that. So I don't want that to go unnoticed. Like I appreciate that you did all that and took the effort and put it all out there. However, from my perspective, it's about 3 a.m. I wake up to go use the restroom. And at this point, I always fall asleep before Matt gets out of work on Mondays. So I always check my phone to make sure he got back to the hotel okay. He's all right. All is good. Because I worry about you, baby. So I looked on my phone and I see I have like 6 or 7 texts from Matt, where usually it's like 1 or 2, like a long, nice text about how beautiful I am, how much you love me, and you can't wait to put your D inside my P and all that. So I open the text and I see books and books and books of text, and I'm like, what the f-? To me, I'm half asleep, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I'm starting to fume because I'm reading it. However, I'm kind of taking from it what I want to, what I believe, right? Not like how you presented it. And I think this is the reason why I think it's difficult when you say things through text message, because things get misconstrued.
Totally.
Your intention was not at all to piss me off, but when I see it, I'm taking it a different way than you're intending it, because there's no tone, there's no, it's difficult
to be
take
fair,
that.
I tried to make it so bulletproof that you could not have misread it.
Right. But it is difficult to take that through a text message. And so I did not sleep the rest of the night. I just tossed and turned, and I wasn't going to bother texting him back because I knew it would just get into like an argument via text message. And to me, I prefer to communicate in person, because I think, when you see the person's emotions and you look into their eyes, you can get a whole different sense of everything compared to text message. So I was pissed. And I wake up and I text him like, good morning. Yes, let's chat when you get home. Have a good flight or something like that. So he took that. You assumed, you texted me back saying, well, I'm not going to hurry home for this conversation because based off your texts, that it's not a conversation I'm going to look forward to.
I was assuming I sent this, what I thought was very kind and
what were you expecting, me to wake up and be like, oh, baby, I love you. Thanks for the long book of a text.
No, I would have thought, here I am sort of pouring my heart out via text message, and I was...
Pour your heart out?
You just said books and books and books and all this. Yes.
But the children love the books.
I'm done with the children. Not my children, but those children. They can go to hell. The entire meaning of the text was to elicit like, hey, yeah, you're right, let's chat, but sort of get like some sort of gauge. That's the reason I sent the text.
And
because,
that's
but
why
you didn't give me a gauge.
But that's why I didn't want to respond and say anything one way or another, because I just felt like I wanted to have this conversation when you got home.
Right.
So that's why I woke up and I said,
not responding
let's chat.
to anything about what
But I
said.
did.
No, you didn't. You said, okay, or I'll see you when you get home or something like that.
I said, well, we'll chat. We can chat when you get home. Have a safe flight. I love you, with the kiss emoji. It's not like I was like, K, like you do.
But you essentially did not acknowledge anything
because
that I sent.
I didn't want to, because I knew if I had, you would have misconstrued it.
So we sat down after I get home on the couch and have this conversation. And wow, making a case for never assuming anything, and also never texting my girlfriend ever again. The way, and you admit this, you misconstrued what I wrote because you read it at 3:00 in the morning.
Right. Well, then I even went back and read it because I said something
because you
along
said,
the
you were
lines
like, but
of,
you said, and I went, no,
and I was
didn't.
looking,
I
and
never
I
said that.
I said, okay, yeah, you're right. You never said that. However, you said this, and that made me feel this way. And that's one thing that you can't ever argue, how someone feels, right? How they take something. And I understand that wasn't your intention to make me feel that way. However, that's how I took it. And that is the problem with sending things through text message.
But I think that's the problem. No. In general, you assumed that it was a negative text and that I was trying to say something that I wasn't.
I didn't assume it was a negative text. I just did not like all of the content in the text. But when we sat down and had the conversation and we looked at each other, we sat on the couch. We both just, neither of us were like worked up or aggressive.
No, we had a
or
conversation.
We
it
had
wasn't
such
a fight.
an adult conversation. We sat down on the couch for almost like an hour.
Yeah.
And talked about the issue at hand.
And as we sort of peeled back the onion, we realized it all sort of stemmed from the initial knockdown drag out argument from a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So the issue, the nucleus of the issue was never addressed.
Right.
The surrounding issues were, but the main problem was not addressed. Long story short, after an hour plus conversation, we reached an accord, as they say, and we went, oh, okay, now we kind of are on the same page fully.
With everything. There's no little pieces hanging off like, oh, eventually we have to address this, or eventually we're going to get this, or eventually this is going to happen. And it's going to unfold all this shit. Like all of it is taken care of.
Right.
And we talked about it all and resolved it all.
Yeah. Rather than fixing all the ancillary issues and just kind of moving on and blissfully, we got to the heart of the matter. And it took a long time to get there, and potentially more arguments than needed to be had, but it was fine. There's something to be said from sitting down with your partner, and the reason they were telling you all this is because hopefully you can relate to it if anybody's in a relationship.
Well, we always preach communication, right, and yet we didn't do it.
We had to take our own advice, and it took us a while to get there. So just for everybody at home to go, oh, see, they're not perfect. Yeah, that's right. We're not. That's the whole point. That's why we're doing this. And hopefully somebody listening can go, oh, I can relate to that. Like, I'm still sort of pissed off about this thing my partner did. And if you have any sort of angst inside you with an issue or something is still bothering you, if it's still in your Rolodex, bring it up, bring it out, talk about it, and do it in a completely neutral manner. Neither of us were pissed off. Neither of us were drinking. That's never have a conversation or an argument with your partner if you're using any sort of intoxicant, because you're not you. No matter what, you're not thinking rationally. You might be in a good mood. You might be in a bad mood. Don't do that, because that's never going to solve anything.
That's like most of our fights is because you have been drinking.
It's my fault.
You get so mad and then you say things you don't mean. And then the next day you're like, oh, yeah, I didn't mean that. I was just drinking.
Right.
And that's just what happens. But I want to say something that I think.
Well, now that you've identified the genesis of all of our problems,
no, that's not true.
It's
at
me.
All. That's not true at all. I do think something that we kind of even discussed more after this fight, that, or not even fight, conversation we had, was being able to take yourself out of the situation sometimes and realizing that it's not about you. Let's think about where your partner is at. Let's think about what your partner might be going through rather than, well, this is how I feel. This is how it makes me feel. Let's think about like, oh my gosh, my partner is going through this. Maybe I should remove myself from the situation and just try to be there for them.
But that is really hard to do. And I'm
It
speaking
is.
as a dude.
Yeah.
It's really hard to take yourself out of the situation when your girl is upset, whether they're upset with you or not, but you're not yourself. And I'm not singling you out. I'm saying, I imagine this is probably relatable to a lot of people. When you're not yourself, you treat me differently.
How?
I'm not. This
No,
is not
but I'm just
specific to
saying,
Leah.
like,
The way you act, or the way you
yeah,
speak,
just
the
in
way you
general,
don't
if you're upset
engage.
about something,
Right.
yeah.
I'm not saying Leah specific.
Yeah.
I'm saying in my experience.
See how defensive I get?
Yeah, right? Shocker.
How? What?
Shocker.
Me?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Give me an example.
Yeah.
No, I only did that because of you.
You're the give me the example.
Yeah, because I
need facts.
I do. Because I don't argue over imaginary
stuff.
stuff.
Off. You make up all the time.
Okay.
But I do think it's important. I do think it is important.
You just cut me off. I was making a point.
Go.
You insulted me and then you took the lead.
Oh, Maron, just go.
God almighty. But it's difficult as a man to have your partner all of a sudden change how their personality is, whether it be for a day or a week or even
an hour.
Oh my God. One of these days I'll complete a sentence.
Well, I just had to make sure you knew. Like sometimes it's not a day or a week. Sometimes it's like a couple minutes. Ladies, you know what I'm saying. Okay, go. Baby, go. I'm done talking. Just go.
Anyhow, it is very difficult for me, as I imagine plenty of other people listening to this, when your partner is upset or unhappy about something, whether it pertains to you or not, and they treat you differently. I'm not saying less than, I'm not saying you were mean to me or you mistreated me, but you aren't yourself. When something's bothering you, you have no poker face. You have a terrible poker face.
I know.
So when something is bothering you, whether it be something I did or something at work or something that happened that day, you act differently. And my assumption, which is not usually correct, is she's treating me different because she's mad at me.
That's fair.
And it's not until we have the conversation. But oftentimes I go, let's fix this right now. I want to have this conversation. What is your problem? What's bothering you today? Why are you so upset? And you're upset. It doesn't matter what it's about, but you're not thinking, oh, I want to have this reasonable conversation with Matt. It's just leave me alone. I'm having a bad day. Okay. And then I go, screw her. She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm trying to be here for her and she doesn't want to tell me anything. And then it's a vicious cycle because then I give you the cold shoulder and you go, screw him. I need his support and he's being a dick. It's a vicious cycle. So you have to break it at the right time, but you also have to remove yourself before it starts rolling. Now, the floor is yours.
I mean, am I allowed to talk or?
I hate you.
I'm just saying that I get where you're coming from in that because I feel the same way sometimes with you, right? But I think sometimes it's important to not always make it about ourselves. You know, we know how something makes us feel, but sometimes it might hit our partner differently and we need to make sure we're there for them. And it's not always about us. And I'm guilty of it too. Like, it's not always about me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like, let me see how this makes Matt feel. Like, why am I not thinking of that? Instead, I'm thinking about how it makes me feel. And I think it's just beyond this situation with us this week. In general, it's important to take yourself out of your own shoes and put your partner's shoes on and just kind of, or put yourself in your partner's shoes.
Wow.
Put yourself
in the pantheon of screwing up cliches. That has got to be up there.
Put yourself in your can't believe I said that. Put yourself
Take your own shoes off. Put your partner's on. I mean, the idea was there, but come on.
You know what I mean? Put yourself in your partner's shoes sometimes.
Or put your partner's shoes on.
Because it is important. And, we have to, humans are all selfish. Like, I'm sorry, unless you're like Mother Teresa, everyone is selfish, whether you want to admit it or not. So it is important to remove yourself from the situation sometimes and think about the other. That's all I'm trying to say. I would never wear your shoes, however, because they don't fit. And let's face it, you got those thick ass feet.
What's in the mailbag?
Oh my God, I'm dying. I cannot even believe I said that. We have a few questions here.
While Leah is prying into the official Bear With Us mailbag, this is our chance to remind you to send us some damn questions. Got questions about life, about romance, about love. Maybe you just have a funny story you want to share with everybody. The mailbag is open. We need your questions. It helps us
help you.
Helps us help you.
Help us help you. I love that we have YouTube now because I can be like, call on me.
I don't know.
Call on me.
What?
Okay.
I don't know who spends more time staring at themselves, you or the cat.
Oh,
downstairs.
Off. Are you kidding me?
You just danced.
Just now.
Oh, okay.
Don't even go there, babe, because I will expose you like a brick. Okay. Here's the melon.
Expose me like a brick?
Like exposed brick.
That was the worst analogy you've ever made.
Like exposed brick.
I mean, I know what exposed brick is, but if you think about it, exposing things, brick is definitely not the first that comes to mind.
Whatever, it came to my mind. Here's the melon never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Just had a tiny orgasm. Okay. Question number 1, honey. Okay, so I like this guy. I believe he likes me back. But when I scroll down his... okay, start that over. I got cat hair up my nose.
All right. I forgot how to read.
Okay, so I like this guy, and I believe he likes me back. But when I scroll down his social media, in parentheses, I'm a stalker, he has like 10 girls commenting on his post. Should this be a warning, or should I stop being childish? Disclaimer, I only stalked because I do research before I get into relationships. First of all, you don't need a disclaimer, girl. I would do the same thing. I'm a crazy social media stalker, so I get it.
What are your thoughts? You can't get mad at him. You can't begrudge him of anything until something is made to some official level in a capacity after you've been on dates. You think he likes you, you can't get mad at him just because you think he likes you and he's got other girls talking to him.
No, I don't think she's mad. I think she's thinking, oh my gosh, she has all these other girls.
Right. Well, like, okay, so mad's not the right word.
Maybe like insecure or jealous.
Whatever it is, it's giving her pause. Maybe she's not mad. Maybe she's concerned. Whatever the emotion she's feeling is, it's a result of looking at this business that he obviously isn't trying to hide from anybody. It's on his social media. It's public. If you think he likes you, make sure he likes you. And if he does like you and you like him and you guys develop a relationship, then you've got cause for concern. But until then, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely a waste of time. Yeah. That's like going, oh, well, I met this guy, but he might be going on dates with other girls. Well, if that's the case, then you need to concern yourself with him and you at the time. If he's going on other dates with girls, step up your game or walk away. You can't get mad at somebody for exploring their options if there's nothing happening.
Well, and also I think it's kind of hot that he has all these other girls commenting on his photo, but he's going out with you. Like, or he likes you, right? So who cares? You should take it as like a compliment. All these women like this guy, but he likes you. And at the end of the day, you can't control what other people post on someone else's photo. Like just because people are commenting, like that's not his fault. He can't be controlling is he going to go through and like delete the comments. Like that's weird. So if girls are commenting on his photo, like I can't control who comments on mine. Same with you. If like people are commenting on your photo, that's not a reflection of you. It's just like random people saying it. So I don't think it's a big deal. Now, if you guys are like dating and these people are like, nice, it was so nice hanging out with you last Friday, then it's like, okay, this is the fucking issue. But if they're like, oh, you're hot or something like that, that's not a big deal. I don't think. Do you?
No, I mean, like I said, it all depends on the level of your relationship where it is, which right now isn't even a relationship. It's a potential thought of maybe this guy likes me. Not an issue right now.
Yeah.
6 months from now, you guys are still talking, dating regularly, then maybe it's a conversation you have. But right now, don't even pay it any mind.
Question number 2, honey. Who does the dishes and who does the laundry? Or is there someone who does both?
I will take this. I will readily admit that Leah handles 100% of the laundry, which is amazing. It's never something we even really had a discussion about.
No.
You just kind of started doing it. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to acknowledge it because I don't want her to go, yeah, you dumbass. I do all the laundry. She handles that all the time. 100% of the credit goes to Leah for the laundry. I would say 75% of the dish credit goes to Leah as well. But
what the you guys?
Well, no, listen, neither of these are something. These are just things you just did, right?
Well, because if I wait too long, like dishes in the sink stress me out. I hate having dishes in the sink.
I don't like it either. I'm guilty of it, usually for like a few hours.
A couple dishes. Yeah, no big deal. A glass. You're not dirty by any means.
No, but if I see that the dishes need done, I do them. Or if I see that you have done them, I'm pretty good about emptying the dishwasher. I like to really
wait. I'm sorry. What? You're good about emptying the dishwasher?
When the dishes are clean, I empty the dishwasher like 3 times a week. You can't. There are 0 lies in that statement.
What?
I empty the of the dishwasher all the time.
Speaking of emptying the though, I feel like because I know I do the laundry and most of the time I do the dishes, I've gotten to the point now where I just let you do the litter box. You're the litter box boy.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, you are on litter box duty, and like sometimes in my head I call you LBB because you're the litter box boy. So I have allowed you to take over that realm of the chore list. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel like the luckiest man on the planet.
That's all we have for today for the mailbag.
Thank God. I don't know if I could handle any more. Make sure you help us refill the mailbag. Bear with us pod@gmail.com. As always, you can send us messages on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe.
YouTube, give me a Y. Y, you got your Y, you got your Y. Give me an O. Oh, you got your O, you got your O. Give me a U. You got your U, you got your U. Give me a tube. Tube, give me a tube.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a T and I was ducking out of the way. Yeah, so go do all that and you get to see more of that. Yes. What? There's none of that on the YouTube. That's for RedTube. We didn't get there yet.
No, not yet.
Goodbye forever.
Bear with us.